For 2013, my top 5 moments. Alright, this is gonna be fun because I did a lot this year. My top 5 moments for 2013. Number 5 would definitely have to be, it's not an event that personally happened to me, it's an event that I witnessed and I got to contribute to. Me and about 10 other friends, we all pitched in and we were able to get our friend Pirate Chris to go swimming with the whale sharks at the Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta around the night before DragonCon. We went and picked up our badges and we dragged him to the aquarium and we said, here you go, you're going swimming. And just the look on his face when he found out he was going swimming was just worth it. He was so happy, he was so excited, and it's something he'd been wanting to do for a couple of years, but he decided to be an adult and pay all of his bills, handle his, you know, his normal everyday life, and then he would eventually save up to go swimming. And we decided, you know what, we're gonna give it to you. And especially since a couple weeks prior he'd gotten sick, which he only recently got over. He was sick for like 2 months, 2.5 months. So it was definitely a highlight in the middle of all that. And it was right before DragonCon, which is always fun for all of us. So it made that DragonCon, I guess, 10 times more fun for him. And for me, that was just a good moment. Moment number 4 would have to be that I've been going to the same cons every year. So this year I went to 3 new cons that I'd never been to before. One of them was really only went for the day, but it was something new to try out. I'd heard from all my other friends all about these cons. I went to Steampunk World Fair, which was completely out of my element, nowhere near what I normally do, and I actually really enjoyed it. Then I went to Anime Next for 1 day. Yes, 1 day. And then I went with a couple of the guys to Anime USA, which I had planned on going to next year, but Hurricane Sandy kind of put a damper on that last year. So I went this year, and that was fun because I got to go with not the usual group of friends I went with. Went with my friend Sam, I went with Ernie, of course, and then we dragged along Pirate Chris's little brother, Stephen, who hadn't been to a convention in 7-9 years. So it was a change of pace for me for the year. Moment number 3 for me, I've always had this list of guests I've always wanted to meet. I've met so many voice actors especially through the Fans POV, which is getting to interviews. I've met a few, just going online, on the lines for autographs. One of the ones I've wanted to meet for a while is Ayers, and I finally got to meet him at Katsucon this year. That was a lot of fun, because I've heard great things about him. He's really funny. Just the problem is once you get him talking, there's no stopping him. We had a 15-minute interview with him. We ended up going over a half an hour because he wouldn't stop talking, and we just went with it, and that was a lot of fun. Like I said, he's a really nice guy. He was a lot of fun to talk to. He loves his fans, so when I'd ask fan-related questions, he would try his hardest to answer the best he can so he can give his fans the answer. And considering the fact that he voices a couple of characters on 2 or 3 of my most favorite anime series, I was like, yes, I finally got to meet him, and I finally got to interview him. Check off the bucket list. Moment number 2 is really, really big for me. I've been going to conventions since 2004. My first convention was Icon 23, and I've been going to Icon almost every year. I've only missed one since because of work, and that was the year they had changed locations. But this year I was planning on going. It was actually, for some of us who've been going for years, it was going to be our last Icon, and it got canceled. And that was kind of a heartbreaker, because as much as we've been complaining about Icon the past few years, how it's going. It's not the same as it's been. It's going downhill. We were disappointed that it didn't happen this year. There was issues with money and the location that it was going to be in this year, so they postponed it. For me and my friends, that's the place where I first got into conventions and cosplaying, and it's like, that's my home con. That's like, it'll always be there. That's where, like, my friends like Pirate Chris and Tom, it was our first con for all of us together, and it kind of, as corny as it sounds, formed that bond, and we've been friends since. So that was really disappointing that I couldn't go to Icon this year. And well, it's one of the reasons I ended up going to one of the other conventions, but I was still hurt a little bit. It really hurt. Moment number one, with some of my friends, definitely won't be surprised at my number one. This year at DragonCon, I got to meet not one, not two, but 3 Power Rangers, and I was done. That was the highlight. I got to meet Walter Emmanuel Jones, who played Zack on the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Karen Ashley, who played Aisha on she was the second Yellow Ranger on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and Jason David Frank, who played Tommy on Mighty Morphin, CO, Turbo, and Dino Thunder. And I just, I can't get any better than that. I've met Power Rangers. Power Rangers is always my favorite kids show, as corny as it was and how I see it now. I can't explain how awesome it was to meet the 3 of them. Especially I finally was fixing up my Power Ranger costume, so I was able to meet all 3 of them in costume, and that had to be the highlight of the year. And that's my top 5 moments of 2013.